Hello?
Hey.
Okay, yo, I'm getting ready to go live with your Fred. Oh, okay, gotcha.
What's up, team?
T-Ref, through the spoke to you. Oh, what's going on, Fred?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Looking forward to that.
Yo, getting ready to do another homeowner's corner. So, credit do's and don'ts.
Edit in. I'll bring it. I want to drop that out.
Gotcha.
I like it too.
I appreciate it.
News for this hour is made possible by St. Bernard's Hill.
Who would I need to send information to for about Cadence sponsoring Juneteenth?
Mr. Pope, Michael Pope.
Can you, after we get on, like send me his info?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right. How do you get that blur off in the background, man? You got to do that.
Blur. So
Yeah.
you click where your camera is. Is that a little arrow to the right?
I got it. Sorry about that.
All right, we getting ready to start. And Kelly K 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on your Tuesday. It's March 7th, 2023. This is Community Conversations, our Homeowners Corner edition. We do this the first Tuesday of each month. And of course, as always, we have the lender himself, Mr. Corey Mills of Cadence Bank. And today we're going to be talking about credit do's and don'ts, what to do and avoid doing the loan process. He's got us this nice little graphic here. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share that so y'all can see as we follow along. All right, and so it's share. It's showing up on the screen. There we go. All right, so we're just going down this. Our first do, stay current on existing accounts. One late notice can cost you. All right, so let's talk about that.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And again, thank you again for having us on here this Tuesday morning on the Community Conversations. But today we're going to hit all those credit do's and don'ts when you're going to the home buyer, President. So as the Gans mentioned, we want to stay current on existing accounts. So that one late notice can cause you your credit score to decrease. So throughout the loan process, once we pull that credit report and we're going through the entire process, we are monitoring your credit live as we go through the process until you close. So anything that hits your credit, we're notified and it will alert us that, hey, this person has opened an account or this person had an inquiry or this is going on with their credit. So you want to stay current on your existing accounts because if you miss a payment, that's going to show that
you get knocked out.
Say it again. Yep. You can get knocked out of that loan. Let's say if you're straddling the fence with your credit scores and you're at a 640, this loan program minimum requirement is a 640 for this particular loan product that you're getting. And while we're monitoring that, if you miss a payment or something, that could make your score go down to a 635. Let's say hypothetically in this situation. So therefore what? Now you would not qualify for that particular loan product because the minimum credit score requirement was a 640. So you want to make sure that you're staying current on your existing account that's on your credit report. Don't have the mindset of, well, I'm going through this process, so let me try to save my coins or save my chips before I can buy me some furniture. So I'm not going to pay this bill or pay that bill. I want to go into this house as a new beginning. No, make sure you stay current on all your existing accounts.
Okay, and don't get any new accounts as well.
And that's correct, because remember, we're monitoring that credit. And Mr. Kale said, don't get any new accounts. Why is that? Because again, if you open up that credit, a new account, what's going to happen? It's going to ding your credit. Again, if you're scaling if you're scaling the fence on that and you're right there at that minimum credit reporting guideline, then you might get kicked out for that. And then also it's very important not to, because what if you're at a situation with all of your loan, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, possibly mortgage insurance, and all the content on your credit report, what if you're at a 40% debt to income ratio? And what if that loan product says you cannot exceed 40% debt to income ratio? Now, I'm speaking hypothetically right now because per loan product, you can go up to 45, 50, 55, depending on the loan product. But for this example, we're going to say, let's say 40% debt to income ratio. You open up that line of credit and it might hit you to show that you have a $50 bill going out because you open up that trade line and they're showing that that's what you're going to owe on it that month or whatever you use. So we have to take in consideration now that you owe $50 on that account. It might push your debt to income ratio up to 42% or 41, hypothetically on this scenario. So what does that do? That disqualifies you for that particular loan product. So make sure you don't open any current accounts unless you speak to the lender, and we'll go through it and say, hey, where are you at right now? Can you afford to increase your debt to income ratio? Can you afford to take a ding on your credit report to still qualify for this particular loan product?
And you actually had that on your talking point for number 3, but you kind of already touched on that. But we'll just kind of back up to the point before that. Continue to use your credit as normal to keep your score up.
Correct. Just keep everything normal as it was when you first did it. Don't deviate anything. Don't do anything that's before consulting with your lender, because that could cause you to get disqualified for a particular loan. So make sure if you're doing anything, just keep it consistent like you've been doing, okay? And have an open line of communication with your lender about if anything were to change or you needed to do during that process.
Okay, and of course, we've already talked about calling your mortgage professional before any changes, and don't apply for any new credit. But also, I'm looking on here and it says, don't max out credit cards, keep balances below 30% of their limit.
So why don't you want to do that? Because remember, 30% usage is very good usage. So when you have a 30% usage on your credit card, let's say you have $1,000 credit card maximum, that's the limit on your card, and you're only using $300 of that, that's going to keep your credit scores in good standings, okay? So you don't want to go, the rule of thumb is try not to go over that 30% usage of that particular credit card, okay? Because if you do, that could cause your credit score to go down because they're saying you're excessively using that or too much usage rate on that particular credit report. Okay.
All right. And I'm looking on here next. It says, consolidate your debt. Avoid maxing out any card or loan.
Ooh, this is a good one. All right. So I'm sure, again, maybe you've seen a lot of advertising on, okay, 0 APR for the next 18 to 24 months. A lot of credit cards are doing right now. And they're wanting you to possibly open up a trade line with them to either transfer existing debt over or try to consolidate some of the debt into one program or one card, rolling it over into one card that you would not have to pay the interest on for 18 to 24 months, depending on whatever program that particular credit card company is offering. So here's the catch. That's a great thing to do, but you have to be disciplined enough and understand, okay, if I do this, how will it impact me? Remember that rule of 30 that we spoke about on that previous bulletin about maxing out the cards, keeping your balance below 30%. I'm guilty to this, y'all. I got enticed by a credit card to try to move some debt over to a 0 APR for 18 months, not thinking, oh, I'm gonna load this card up and make sure I monitor my usage. I went over the 30% rule and bam, I get an alert on my credit. My credit scores dropped because my usage, even though I transferred some debt from one card that was possibly paying charging me 26% interest on whatever usage. I transferred over to that one with the 0 APR, but I went over on my usage rate. So me slipping up, I wasn't thinking, I just got enticed in by that particular program. Like, ooh, I can shift from debt over and not pay interest on it, for up to 18 months. My strategy was going in, okay, I'm gonna pay this amount and pay it off in time before that window is closed on no APR. Okay. So when you're doing that, consolidating your debt, don't try not to max out those cards if you're going to transfer or consolidate anything, because again, that can knock your credit score down. Also because your usage rates has went up so high, and that it will ding your credit.
Now, I do have a question. So what about, because, and I think you mentioned in the beginning part of this about, you have these companies that offer to do debt consolidation. Are those wise to use? Or should they
Yeah,
be
they
avoided?
are. Yeah, they are. But you definitely need to know everything about it. How will it impact you on your particular situation? Will it, again, remember we spoke about their usage. How much will it cause your usage to go up? And with it, because every credit trade line is going to have a max that you can go over. Let's say if it's $10,000, $20,000. If you're exceeding that usage rate of that, remember that 30% rule, if you're exceeding that, it's going to impact you on your credit. So make sure you know exactly what you're doing, what you can tolerate before it start impacting your usage rate on your credit profile.
Okay. Now I'm looking at something that I find very interesting on here. And I'm actually going to kind of skip ahead just a little bit, but it says don't pay off collections or charge-offs. Do this through escrow, because that's new to me. And I think I can probably speak for those listening and watching out there. People probably think, well, if I got this old charge-off, let me go and pay it to get it off the report. But kind of explain why you shouldn't do it this way and do it instead through escrow.
Okay, because some people go into it and say, hey, I know I have some collections on my car. I have some medical collections. I didn't pay my cable bill when I moved out that one apartment, and it, I didn't close it out, or it didn't pay it. And now it's following me here. So it's a collection now on my credit report. So what will happen is, why we wouldn't want you to pay off collections or charge off, because some of those things we don't have to consider depending on the loan product. So if you have some medical debt and it's not exceeding a certain dollar amount, then you could not, you can did not have to pay it off. Excuse me, my phone ring here. Let me turn it.
Good. Well, that's ring. Stick with Corey Mills, the lender for our community conversations homeowners corner. Question. We got a question or comment, you can drop them on our Facebook Live comments. And let's say shout out to Derek Coleman. Always appreciate you for checking in on our Facebook Live feed. I do it. Well, what's up, you man? Oh, that's on the business line.
All right.
All right, so continue.
Okay. Back on those the payoffs on the collection, those charge offs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get with a lender. And if you do have to pay those off, we would know throughout their process, okay, this is what needs to be paid off. Hold your money right now until we get closer into the closing that we may have to pay it off. And what we can do is, when they say we can do this through escrow, the title company can pay those bills off for you. That way we can say, hey, if this is going to be considered debt on their debt to income ratio, we'll let title handle that up at the end. So therefore, you won't have to waste money on stuff that paying stuff off that you're really not obligated or need to pay off for this particular transaction. So it's a great thing. Make sure you stay in communication. Listen to that lender, because they're knowing what programs will allow you or tolerate you to do certain things with collection and different charge-offs.
Okay, and getting back to our list of don'ts, and this is actually the last one on here. Don't close credit card accounts. This may throw off your debt to income ratio.
Not only will it throw off your debt ratio, but it will hurt your credit history. I think last week we spoke about debt to income ratio and what it was, and how it impacts on your transaction, your loan transaction. So what if you close out a credit card, let's say you had this card open 5 years, and you would say, hey, I got to zero it out. I'm gonna close this credit card. So what happens when you do that? So when you close that card out, that whole credit history has vanished. Okay. And it's not showing as something that's live on your actual credit report. So you want to, if you got a credit card or an account zeroed out, paid off, let's say credit card for this situation, try to keep that card open as long as you can, where you have to put $5 on it 1 month to keep it open, just to show some type of usage on it. Do that, but do not close that credit card account out, because it can actually hurt your credit history. Okay.
Okay. All right. And that takes us to the end of our talking points. And definitely, as always, Corey brings just such valuable wealth of information to all of our listeners and viewers out there. So is there anything else that you want to touch on that we may not have covered?
Okay. Well, let me go back to my notes here, and we hit everything on staying current. Why it's important to stay current on those accounts. Remember, when we're going through this process, we're monitoring that thing until it closes, and we might monitor a day or so after until we close that out. So we're using a third-party vendors to monitor your stuff during your process of your loan. Always speak to your lender. Do not go out. We see this a lot. People go to the closing table like, hey, we're going to close Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're going to close tomorrow. So you're thinking that transaction has closed out. You got the green light to go ahead and get your money for your closing tomorrow. And you got your down payment money. You got your closing costs, everything. You got your check. And then some type of way you feel that you want to go out and buy a car. It's a new beginning. Your debt to ratios was good, and you went out and got a new car to say, hey, this is my new beginning. I want me a new car, got me a new house. No, do not do that, because doing this transaction, remember, we're monitoring your credit. And once you get that ding on there, we're going to see, okay, Miss ABC just went and got a car, and her note is $800 a month. Now we have to include that on your debt to income ratio, which has pushed you out of the market as far as your qualified debt to income ratio.
So basically, wait until you literally got them keys and you got the U-Haul backed up into the driveway.
Exactly. Wait till you
Or it
got
may
the
not be a
keys
matter
in
of
your hand.
wait until that first mortgage payment due.
Exactly. So
because once that first payment hit, then you got it.
It's yours then. Once you got there, you got those title documents in your hand. Then you might want to entertain going out and try to get you a new car, but make sure you have those documents are signed. Maybe wait a couple of days, make sure we're closed out on your credit monitoring before you go and do something like that, because it can impact you and possibly disqualify you for that loan product. So great example, Mr. Kale. And we see it a lot. We joke about it. And that's one of the biggest things real estate agents joke about is, we're closing this week, and they get all of a sudden they get a call from their person that they're representing saying, hey, where are you at right now? I need to talk to you about something. I'm at the car dealership looking at something. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because it could totally make the deal close out. Okay.
Well, that's awesome. Well, like I said, you have definitely, you always drop knowledge, but I think today has been especially impactful. So I'm definitely hoping and praying that everyone out there listening has gotten something out of this. And of course, Corey, the lender Mills, we call him Buddha. You can reach him at Cadence Bank for more information, or if you just want to talk to him about possibly starting a home buying process for yourself. As always, thank you for joining us. We do this each and every first Tuesday of the month. All right, you guys have a great and blessed day. This is KLEK on 2.5 FM.
Thank you.
All right, I'll catch you later.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.